Welcome back to Mindcast with Dee, everyone. I'm Dee, and today we're diving into a feeling so many of us quietly carry, the sense that no matter what we do, we're somehow falling behind in life. You know that moment when you scroll, look around, or even just sit with your thoughts, and it hits you. Everyone else seems ahead. But what if that feeling isn't telling you the truth? What if it's actually pointing to something deeper we've been conditioned to believe?
Hi, I'm Will, and I'm really excited to see what behind-the-scenes insights we'll uncover today. That feeling of being behind, it's almost universal, but we rarely talk about it openly. It creeps in during quiet moments, especially when you start comparing your timeline to someone else's. And the wild part is, even people who seem ahead often feel the same way.
Exactly. And that's what makes this topic so important. It's not just about productivity or success, it's about perception. We've built this invisible timeline in our heads, where we should be at a certain age, career stage, or life phase. And when reality doesn't match that script, we assume something's wrong with us. But is it really?
I think that invisible timeline idea is huge. It's like we're all running a race without knowing who set the start and finish lines. And worse, we're comparing our progress to people on completely different tracks. Different backgrounds, different opportunities, different goals. Yet we still measure ourselves the same way.
Let me share something relatable. A few years ago, I remember sitting at a cafe, scrolling through social media, and seeing people my age buying homes, getting promotions, traveling the world. Meanwhile, I felt stuck, like I hadn't arrived anywhere yet. And it wasn't that I wasn't doing anything, I just wasn't doing those things.
That hits hard because I've had that exact moment too. It's not even jealousy, it's more like confusion. You start questioning your choices, wondering if you missed a turn somewhere. And suddenly, your own progress feels invisible because it doesn't match what you think it should look like.
And that's where the distortion begins. We equate visibility with value. If something isn't flashy or externally validated, we assume it doesn't count. But growth often looks quiet, like healing, learning, or just figuring yourself out.
Totally. And I think another layer is how we compress time. We expect results way faster than they realistically happen. We see someone's highlight moment, but we don't see the 5 to 10 years of groundwork behind it. So we compare our beginning to someone else's middle or even peak.
Let's get into something practical here, because understanding this is one thing, but shifting it is another. First tip, redefine your timeline. Instead of asking, am I behind? Ask, behind what exactly? If the standard isn't yours, it's not valid.
That's a powerful reframe. Second tip, limit comparison triggers. That doesn't necessarily mean quitting social media, but it does mean being intentional. Notice what makes you feel inadequate and adjust your exposure to it.
Third tip, track your own progress. Not the big milestones, those come later, but the small wins. What did you learn this month? What did you handle better than before? Those are real indicators of growth.
Fourth tip, normalize nonlinear paths. Life isn't a straight line, and honestly, the people who pivot, pause, or restart often build deeper, more meaningful success. Detours aren't failures. They're part of the design.
And fifth tip, talk about it. The feeling of being behind thrives in silence. The moment you open up, you realize how many people feel the same way. That alone can be incredibly grounding.
I want to touch on something that's been trending lately. The idea of late bloomers. There's this growing conversation around people finding success or clarity later than expected, and it's challenging the whole early achievement
and
narrative.
I love that shift. Because for so long, we've glorified early success as the ultimate goal. But what about depth, resilience, and self-awareness? Those things often take time, and they're just as valuable, if not more.
There's also this emotional layer where people feel like time is running out. That urgency can create panic decisions, choosing paths just to catch up, not because they're right. And that often leads to more dissatisfaction.
Exactly. And that's the trap. When you rush to meet a timeline that isn't yours, you risk building a life that doesn't actually fit you. And then you end up feeling behind, even when you've caught up.
So maybe the real question isn't am I behind, but am I aligned? Because alignment creates a completely different kind of progress. One that feels fulfilling, not forced.
That's such a good way to put it. And I think a lot of people are waking up to that idea. Success isn't just about speed, it's about direction. Moving fast in the wrong direction doesn't get you where you actually want to go.
Let's bring the audience into this. I'm curious. When was the last time you felt like you were behind in life? And what triggered that feeling? Was it something external or something internal?
That's a great question. And I'd add, what would your life look like if you removed that comparison completely? If there was no timeline to measure against, what would you focus on instead?
All right, let's do a quick recap. Feeling behind often comes from comparing yourself to an invisible or borrowed timeline. Social comparison, unrealistic expectations, and lack of visible progress all feed into it. But the reality is, growth is personal, non-linear, and often invisible.
And the shift starts when you redefine success on your own terms. Limit comparison, track your real progress, embrace your unique path, and have honest conversations about how you feel. Most importantly, remember that being behind is often just a story, not a fact.
And once you question that story, everything changes. You stop chasing and start choosing. You stop reacting and start aligning. And that's where real progress begins.
Thanks for spending this time with us. Catch you in the next one.